Hello, friend. There isn't really much news this time, and honestly, I'm sort of glad for that. So let's just catch up on stuff that I skipped last time because there was so much important stuff, you know. So and a few new stuff too. So what we got here says, oh yeah, this one I did read. We don't have to go through it. This is short anyways. But I think they're asking information or help from the population. Is it possible? Yes, that's it. We saw this one together. Man, for those of you who've been here for a long time, you won't even remember. But like 2 years ago, there was a. I remember it was mysterious. It was a mysterious death. They found a guy laying inside of his car, so he got off with signs, clear signs that he got, you know what, someone pulled the trigger on him. But they found him there, and it was in Saint Leonard neighborhood. So that's the Italian neighborhood. Someone died there, and it's pretty. What I find interesting about this is this means the cops have absolutely no idea. They have no leads to go with. 2 years later, think about that. They could have done this 2 years ago, but no. 2 years later, now they're like, all right, guys, we need your help. We need you to give us any information you have. Does anybody remember anything? Literally, that's what's up. So that offing happened on the 30th of November, 2023. So I bet you most of you don't even remember the news when it happened, but we did read this one together when it did. So for those, maybe someone remembers, it was in the. Said that they will actually meet you. They will actually meet you between 10 to 3 p.m. on the intersections of Fontenelle and Jean Talon in Saint Léonard. Which day is it? Did it already pass? I'm trying to see if they can give it. If they can give us a date here. I don't clear. I don't want to read the whole thing to find it, but just spotting here, I can't really see anything. Anyways, maybe it's past. Regardless, you can probably Google it yourself if you want to look into it, if you remember something. Next story, we're not going to get into this either. I just found it funny, what the price to pay for being a fool. Basically, this new generation, the monkey see, monkey do. When you're young, you see someone else do something, and you, even if it's stupid, you're gonna. It's like a symptom of young age. That's what I mean. We copy each other when we're kids. Flavor of the month, whatever it is. Well, right now, the flavor of the month. It's been a while like this. The flavor of the month is to rap about crimes you committed, record yourself. And even show snippets of your fire tool, which is completely illegal to have, but just film yourself having it and then making all sorts of threats in your rap video. Then you feel cool now because your buddies did it, and now you did it too. And they don't think about the consequences of this. But here we have Kensley Nazer, who tried. They're saying here that he's in court and they used this against him. He was trying to come out with a lighter sentence. Well, the judge said no. We saw your rap video, and you and your friends, and the fire tool was pointing at the screen, basically. Like right here, you could see it. They pixelated, thank God, because even YouTube won't permit me to use that. Ain't it funny? You got Journal du Québec on their own website. There's nothing. I don't know. I can't conceive why Journal du Québec. What? I'd be shocked if they have a monetization practice that forbids them from showing this. They had to pixelate this. This is the world we're living in. When I was growing up, it was not like this. We used to watch. What was the shows? The cops shows where they go arrest people, what they found. They were showing the stoop fires and things like that. They were literally not baby you. They would show you stuff. Nowadays, even the newspaper, for some strange reason, they have to pixelate a freaking gun. You can't make this stuff up. I don't blame them, but something's wrong in our society where we're treating people, man. It's really funny, man. I don't know what to tell you. And yeah. And by the way, shout out to EDM and the Gagnon Alain, Aggressive Bat, Mountain Woman, Daniel Gould, and thank you, Errant Crone. Welcome, I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Really means a lot. Makes the whole difference. And yeah, Errant Crone, you see here, Canada, the country where it's all about appearances, where nothing actually works cohesively. So yeah, this clown got himself to trouble. So if you any of the young foot soldiers want to follow by example, you want to be a gangster, film yourself, make rap videos, and whatever is illegal, show it on the camera. Just to be cool. And then later on, when you do get pinched and you asking the judge to give you a lighter sentence, you crying about it. You know what to expect. He's gonna be your role model here, Kensley Nazar. Next story, we got. Oh yeah, I wanted to. I'm not gonna get into it again. These are I'm just wanted to get through them. But look how terrifying or terrible it's getting in Canada. Some people call Canada Kanakistan. Other people Kanastan. I don't know. You guys got a bunch of nicknames. It's freaking hilarious, man. It's freaking hilarious. But thing is, they brought in too many people there. The population in Canada is not growing. People are not making children, and instead of addressing the root of the problem, which is unhinged capitalism, where people are basically have no free time, and corporations hold. There's the supply and demand dynamics. If you have too much supply of labor, and then the wages can't go up, and employers start to discriminate very easily. They start to say stuff like, "Oh, he has big ears. I didn't like the way he shook my hand," or we need tons of experience to bag groceries at the supermarket. It starts to get ridiculous like this. It's a balance of supply and demand dynamics. In Canada, they like to completely overthrow the supply side, and they have the excuse that the population's not growing. And then what you have is that real estate, maybe in the last 10 decade, goes up 60%, and rents go up 60%. And people are begging to be able to survive, but they're perfectly content with this. The asset class, the asset owners, they're completely okay with this. That the next generation, Z or whatever, they won't be able to ever buy a house ever again, and it'll even be a privilege to rent an apartment and by yourself and not to have 3-4 roommates. This is the Canada that they brought to you, and you voted for the same two political parties again and again and again. That's what it got you. But one of those symptoms is you got so many immigrants that landed here, and a lot of them are good people. Then there's another part of it, because the more you recruit, the more problems you also get. The more population increases. That's why there's more crime in America. They have 10 times more the population, or whatever a number more. Well, one of the symptoms right now that we're having is we're having these international mafias. Maybe it's not the right word, or transnational mafias. From India was one of them. We always had Asian, China, but the Indo variety now is going nuts. It's going bananas, man. It's going bananas, and I don't cover that. Although I really like British Columbia, and I'm not a hater or anything like that. Trust me, if you knew me, you would know, at all, But it's sad to see their gangs have it's so easy to come to Canada. That even their gangs, it's this cannot be an accident. This can't be an accident. Let me just get it to the point. A cinema in Toronto targeted for the second time in 7 days. Now, this is just one crime among many that I don't cover. I don't cover this stuff. I'm not from Ontario. I'm not from British Columbia. Although I've been to both, obviously. And I've seen it with my own eyes. But this is, just to look at it, I read it already. I glanced at it already. They're saying that the cinema in the west of Toronto will cancel its projections. They were about to show South Asian movies after getting basically someone's trying to extort them, threaten them, whatever. They're burning up the place, and I don't know, man. I'm not thinking it's a white guy who's extorting all these cinemas here, or these South Asian cinemas. We already know the writings on the wall here. In the biggest victim of extortion is Indians, Indo-Canadians. They are themselves the biggest or the main victims of their countrymen. The bad people that the gangs, like, was it Bishnoi gang? They even had to designate them terrorists now. Thank God, they actually did that. But here you go, just one more symptom. 2 times in 7 days, guys. They're that bold. It's that easy to come to Canada. It's just out of control, man. There's countries they can barely even feed their kids, but they'll still have 4 and 5, and they'll expect, it's like written, it's like a birthright. Oh, I'm having all these kids. I can't afford them, but they're all going to Canada. Each and every one of them. It's pretty sad, that Canada has to take all the burden of all the, a lot of the burden of all these places. But there would be no issue except the fact that it doesn't help our labor market for people who are trying to get better wages. It's not helping the hospital situation that's crumbling. They're crying, the nurses, the staff. They're having mental breakdowns. They're going to therapy. They're being bullied at work by their supervisors. There's like no compassion for these people at all. Even someone who is sick, old person who's been here for generations, whatever, he's going to the hospital, and suddenly it's like, you're gonna be stuck here for 36 hours until the doctor can see you. And what do they think the solution to fixing all this trauma is? To bring in more people, to burden the whole thing again. Unbelievable how things are run in Canada. It's absolutely amazing. Doesn't take a scientist to figure out this is a complete joke. Anyways, let's continue. Next story. A well-known alleged Vancouver gang leader. This is a little bit older, but I thought it was so worth it to see. I'm not even going to translate this. Like I told you, I do the French to English, so it's already English, but I wanted to check out the video and you can listen to it. I think it would summarize everything perfectly. All right, I'm going to play it. It might blow your ears. I'm going to pause it, and then I'm going to adjust the audio. Oh, it was muted. Nice. Okay. Let me just hope it's all right for your ears.
It might look like the city of glass, but the reflection hiding a dark secret. Vancouver has long been known as a hub of criminal drug trafficking. New U.S. court documents cracking the window on how that trade works. According to an affidavit filed in U.S. District Court, Surrey gangster Upinder Singh Sian was at the center of a vast conspiracy to import precursor chemicals from China and export narcotics through the port of Los Angeles to Australia.
His name is Upinder, O-P-I-N-D-E-R, Upinder Sian, S-I-A-N.
Sian was well known in Vancouver organized crime circles, linked to the Brothers Keepers. He survived a shooting in 2008 and another in 2011. In 2022, he allegedly became involved in a plot originating in Ankara, Turkey, where the DEA placed a confidential source inside an operation to export drugs from LA to Sydney. Sian met with that source several times, including in Vancouver. In August 2023, even bringing his wife and child to the meeting. According to the affidavit, Sian claimed to be tied to several multinational criminal groups, including the Kinahan cartel, an Irish gang operating from Dubai. Sian thought he was moving hundreds of kilos of methamphetamine. The DEA, though, intercepting it all, sending fake products to Sydney, where Australian law enforcement would track it to its destination and make arrests. Court documents also allege Sian was involved in the purchase of precursor chemicals from China and the distribution of those chemicals to Mexican cartels. According to the affidavit, a Chinese national alleged he could get precursor chemicals directly from China and could send them to LA through his trucking company. Experts say this is a common route and method.
Vancouver is the center of gravity for hybrid warfare, transnational organized crime in North America.
Sian was arrested in Arizona, the affidavit filed in California. Aaron MacArthur, Global News.
So what do we learn here? Did you catch that? The guy was trying to ship them to Australia, right? Was that it? Australia or New Zealand? So that's the recurring theme, is these Canadian big organizations, they're trying to get their product to Australia. Why? it commands a much higher price. That's the new coveted area or coveted gold pot. That's where they rather sell it there than sell it here. It's very interesting, and it's not the first. Basically the recurring theme is it's in British Columbia. British Columbian organized crime groups are trying to. They're receiving it there, and then they're shipping it off to Australia. It's freaking crazy. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, we're gonna have to contend with that. Let's get to the other stories. A driver arrested with 47,000 units of M&Ms in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu. It's a woman, 30 years of age. Got arrested for something worth estimated $277,000. Street value, I guess. They seized 375 G's of cane and the the GHB thingy, the brown plant, 3 cell phones. And here's the lovely lady that got caught with all that. If it wasn't for the article, I would have thought she looked like the friendly neighborhood pharmacist at Jean Coutu. But no, my friend, she was another type of pharmacy store. The other variety, underworld variety. What's her name? We got Tony Ann Valley, 30 years old. There you have it. She don't look like she gets high on her own supply either. All right, next. Oh yeah, it's saying here. Do you guys remember the epic story? We didn't have any info on that. At the height of the BFM war versus Hells Angels, this photo. How can we forget about it? This is like I don't know the area. I believe, based on my memory, could be wrong, warning for the nitpicker. I believe this is an important street in that little town, okay? Sainte-Marie-de-Beauce. I believe it's an important street, and it might be where they're downtown. Don't quote me on this. I could be completely out of it, but it's an important street that they was driving on. That person who was driving on this was a Hell's Angel, and they ambushed him. They tried to kill the Hell's Angel. This was the blockbuster story. That was the height of it, but we never got in more info than that. That was pretty epic. But I think that may be the turning point. That may have been the point where the Hells Angels, in my opinion, looking at it like this with absolutely no how could I say, no clear event to back it up with, but I would imagine that this event here was the turning point for them to stop and say, because you remember they were trying to befriend the Blood Family Mafia again. They were trying to negotiate with them. They were sent one of their guys to France or Portugal, and to meet Ice Pic Turmel while he was on the run, to go have a talk with him. They actually went that far. They tried to negotiate, if you will. But if I could say something, would be this time, this event when the BFMers, I guess, tried to off a Hells Angels. I guess at this point they really turned the book after this, and then they said, okay, now we really need to eliminate these guys. Now, rounds being let off in Sainte-Marie, they're going back to that day. A suspect still on the run 9 months later, and they have a picture of him, or it doesn't look real. It looks like it was drawn by computer, but they don't even put a name here. They just said robot portrait of a man wanted. So I guess they had cameras, street cameras, whatever, and they were able to use that and come up with this like AI type of image, right? That's what I thought. It's not a real photo. They're saying the suspect would be aged approximately 18. That would check out with the BFM inner circle or those guys doing the street jobs. It fits, I would be more surprised if he was 40 years old, but they're saying 18, it checks out. They're saying that he would have brown hair, brown eyes. He would be moving regularly inside of a vehicle with other people. He is wanted for attempted murder and setting fires on a vehicle. Okay. No name, nothing. The suspect is wanted for what happened on the January 15th in front of the McDonald's restaurant on Vachon Street, Boulevard. The occupants of a vehicle would have let off multiple times with a machine, a machine fire tool. I can't even say the words. Mountain Woman says she will claim it's all for personal use. Yeah, he's talking about the lady, this lady here. That's a good one. She can claim it's for personal use, but it doesn't. We recognize the M&M user. Someone who's using M&Ms, you can recognize them. It leaves its mark. It really does leave its mark. Right now in this picture, she doesn't look like at all. But she could claim that. But you're right. She could definitely claim that. Say, it's all for me. It's a year's supply. But coming back to this article, look, so who are they trying to kill? Unaware in this photo, laughing with his buddy. No idea that one day that he would be on the receiving end of a gun and people hunting him down. None other than Hell's Angel, Alexandre Maltais. There you go. So, they're saying here the man targeted in this affair was Alexandre Maltais, a member of the Hells Angels Quebec City chapter, who wanted to control the stupefier market in 7th Island. There you go. Confirmation. Without needing a confirmation this whole time. Without needing the confirmation, but it's always great to have the confirmation. This alone would explain the entire war right there. So Hells Angels, remember the 7th Island, the North Coast Corridor, where we're getting all those actions, shootings and things like that, where even people getting beat up on camera. You remember? Going to the bar, jumping people, having their fanboys beating up other people at bars and things like that along the North Coast Corridor. And here you have it. If you wanted to know what it's really all about, is for the control of the stupefier market, not only in the red zone, but in the 7th Island. But they have one problem. The BFM reorganized under North Savage Group, and they still got the other leader, who was actually heavy up there. That was his zone, Mr. Albovin, who's on the run. So that story is not over yet. It still continues. And we're going to get more updates in the future. No end in sight so far. So anyways, remember, so they tried to kill Alexandre Maltais. They said January. Man, really? Was this January? I thought it was like last summer. Yeah, it definitely says January 15th. Crazy. It feels like a lifetime ago to me. But they tried to kill him early this year. Now, they're saying 2 other individuals were arrested Tuesday. So this article is from, this is fresh, October 15th. So yesterday's Tuesday, right? So yesterday they arrested Anthony Landers, 29, and Samuel Jourdain Cody, 35. And accusations of attempting to cause the death using a fire tool, blah, blah, blah. So basically, in regards to trying to get this guy off. I guess they were in the vehicle that day or something. But it doesn't look like they snitched who this person's identity was, since they're not even giving us a name here. Interesting. Pretty tight. So the 2 men who were arrested in the plot, I guess, one's from Sainte Claire and the other one from Quebec City. Still detained. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Main story. Do you remember last episode we were talking at the end, I guess, we were reading about they were Quebec's wanted men. And one of those wanted men was remember, it was all somehow in connection to the first generation Mafia War era. Almost. And they had the Italian dude who's on the run. They want him, charge him with you call it, for ordering a death, I guess. Then the other one, we had a Solicito, I don't know who that is. I assumed it must be, he was like in his 50s. I'm assuming that Mr. Stefano Sollecito had a brother. That may have been his brother. That I do recall. We talked about that. And but there was a third person. It was also wanted. It was the Haitian guy, with the customary paladin type of name. And here you have him. He was on the run. They caught him. My man's name, Pierre Philogène, 39 years old. Doesn't look happy, but must have been sort of happier times, because this is not a fresh mugshot. And I think this time he's getting arrested is gonna be the worst feeling of them all. So the new photo, he might look much sadder than this. Project Alliance, one of the most wanted in the country, arrested in what we used to call Vancouver, but Vancouver, in Vancouver, man. Funny fact, I once passed out in my car in Vancouver, or not my car, a borrowed car. I passed out. I just took a nap, man. I think I was in Richmond, and I took a nap for like 30 minutes. I opened my eyes. I was shocked, for a moment. It looked like I was in China, It's not a diss. It was just, it is what it is, I thought, I was like, holy cow, this looks like China. I think even the street names were in Chinese. It was amazing to see that. We're not used to it over here in Quebec. I was completely shocked. But yeah, it was the Twilight Zone. Like, what? We're in China, man. But keep going here. Nothing wrong with that, nothing against Asians. You guys know I like to listen to watch Asian movies, even if I don't understand it, with the subtitles, But yeah, that was crazy to wake up over there. And where are we at here? On the run for the past 4 months. One of the most wanted criminals in Canada was arrested on the Tuesday to Wednesday. So he was arrested yesterday, right? In Surrey, close to Vancouver. How fitting that he's hiding in Surrey. So Philogène was on the run after the first wave of arrests, Project Alliance, where they hit they hit lots of Italian mobsters from Montreal. That big operation. He was part of it. The first wave happened in June. They arrested 11 people. Remember? The Rizzuto clan. They got Leonardo Rizzuto, and and Stefano Sollecito. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. And they're saying that Pierre went on a run right after that when he found out. Now, what is he wanted for? He's suspected of the murder of Charles Olivier Boucher Savard in December of 2021 inside of Montreal. Now, I'm guessing that's it. You see what I'm saying? He will be repatriated to Montreal. They're not giving us any more details here. Yeah, Frederick Silva said it's because of his revelations that all of this happened. Yeah, the knocking on doors and things like that. Now, the remaining suspects still wanted, just to refresh the list: Sasha Kralik, 57, Mario Sollecito, 54, Gian Pietro Tiberio, 52, and Jean Ismael Zephyr, 49. Another article to this, I just want to double check that maybe sometimes they add an extra detail. This one was written by Maxime Deland. This one's from Daniel Renault, who had himself, was it $250,000 bounty on his head? Funny enough, he's somehow tied to all of this story. The guy who informed on all these plots that happened a decade ago. The reason for this police operation here, his name is Frédéric Silva. Funny enough, Frédéric Silva also had the audacity, while he was in good graces with the people he eventually snitched on, he put a bounty on Daniel Renault of this reporter, $250,000 on him. Imagine that. According to our information, yeah, we got this. I don't want to reread what we just read, of course. I just want to see if we can catch any extras here. Yeah, this is an extra here. Yeah, this could be it. No, okay, my bad. I thought I read something else. My bad. No, nothing more here. Yeah, voila. This is what I wanted to have. So he's accused of the murder of Charles Olivier Boucher Savard, December 2021, which happened in Montreal. Okay, now this is it. According to our infos, Boucher Savard, that victim who was killed, he was killed because he wanted to eliminate individuals that had created with Silva the Federation. So remember we that Frederick Silva episode, what we had found out, that mega episode with Frederick Silva, the one where my thumbnail you see him with his back turned with the tattoos on his back, where he found out that Frederick Silva, he started off as a street gang member with the Blues, and then he somehow met in prison the Italian mafia, I think, something like that, and he cemented a friendship, and then he became closer and closer with them, doing their dirty work for them, and then and they formed something called the Federation. And so here they're saying that Charles Olivier Boucher Savard, who in 2021 was killed, according to our sources, Boucher Savard was killed because he, I guess Boucher Savard, wanted to eliminate the individuals who had created with Silva a group called the Federation. Did I read that right? I never heard about this before. So this is their enemy. This was their enemy, the enemy of Silva, the enemy of Gregory Woolley, the enemy of the Italian mafia, I'm guessing. Mr. Boucher Savard was that's so far what I can understand. I might be a bit confused here, but it looks like it. He was their enemy, and he wanted to eliminate them. First I hear this. Question is, who is he allied to? I have no idea. 12th June, 12th of last June. Yeah, they went to arrest all these people. So if you wanted to refresh who got arrested, I did name a few, but there's a few that I did not because I couldn't remember. But here are the extra names. Pietro Diadamo, David Barberio, Vito Salvaggio, Nicola Spagnolo, and the Hells Angel Jean-Richard Larivière, Michel Cliché, Patrick Gilbert, Daniel Guarna, and Darius Perry. Those are all heavy people. And yeah, these are the four that are still wanted, and this is the one of them who's wanted here. Gian Pietro Tiberio, he's still on the run. I think this was the Sasha Kralik guy. And this looks like, in my opinion, what's his name? Solicido's brother. Seems to have the same age, same last name, and also wanted in this big anti-mafia operation where the other guys got arrested. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't. It would be a miracle to have a face like that and not be related. And I think this is Jean-Ismaël Zephyr, the other guy. Those are the last few they want to catch. So yeah, they got him. They actually did get him in British Columbia. Wonder if that's some Wolfpack connections that help the guy hide in Surrey or not. 'Cause he was busted in Surrey. Let's try to see if they had a picture of his bust. That's not the one. Yeah, they don't show us the picture of his bust. Sorry. All right. Thank you very much. Told you today there's not much, man. There's not much. That was it. That's all we got for today. I'm gonna give you guys a thanks by giving you a shout out to I on EDM, Gagnon Alain, Aggressive Bat, Mountain Woman. Thank you so much. Daniel Gould, Errant Crone. I appreciate you. Matic and Matic, c'est ça. Matic and Cyril Gagnon. What's up, Cyril? Will Hildebrand, of course. Biker News Canada, of course. A real biker. So if you want to if you don't want to listen to some guy like me who's basically just trying to figure stuff out and clumsily go through all of this. But if you actually want to hear from the mouth of someone who was an outlaw biker, you should check out his channel and Biker News Canada, 100% Canadian channel, and you can listen. This guy is not some guy who became a biker in 2017 here. This is a guy who has photos of him, I think, in the late 80s, or at least early 90s, or somewhere around there. Very old school pictures, an old school guy. You could see him with his best friend. I think at the time I forgot the names. Memory's always bad, but he's from that era, so there's like so much wisdom you can learn if you actually wanna. If you don't want some people summarizing stuff they know nothing about, such as me, you can go and listen from someone who understands all of this, who's been part of stuff like this before, and he has proof. Check out his channel. It's called Biker News Canada. And shout out to Anthony Serrano. What's up, buddy? Anthony. And I think I got everybody, man. I hope so. Sorry if I missed you, man. Whoever it is. Sometimes my brain's foggy and I might miss one. I'm the kind of guy who always makes a mistake. Don't hold it against me, man. Have mercy, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. And everybody else, the silent one. The silent one. You don't say anything, and I kind of like that, man. I kind of like that. Makes me have a lot more respect for you. It's not what you say that matters. It's what you don't say that shows us that you're a very wise person. High intelligence. Because you don't need to be asked anything. You won't just understand. I appreciate that, man. Got a lot of respect for you, buddy. As everybody else, have a great day. Have a good evening. Thank you so much.